Hey everybody, this one is about Microsoft pigs and their Windows 10 piece of crap. It's an absolute abortion, and I'll go through and explain what's happening. Every like 5 times a day, this piece of shit comes up with this update like this, and it basically locks out my computer until I click the damn window. And and then it comes up with this after a few minutes, and it says something went wrong. It's an abortion. It's a piece of crap. This is the kind of crap that they're doing. They go and make their mandatory download updates and then assault you with their crap. This Windows piece of shit is mandatory. I used to have Windows 7 on here, and I really liked it. But they go and send you an update, or I downloaded an update, and it locked up my computer. It crashed the thing, and I had to reformat the hard drive and start over. And the same thing with Windows 8. It was a piece of crap too. And they go and download this. They give you this update that screws your computer up. And so now I got this Windows 10 piece of shit, and it blocks me from doing everything on my computer until I click on their piece of shit window. This Windows piece of shit, 10 piece of shit, does this 10 times a day. These Microsoft Satanists and their NSA pig handlers. There's what it comes up with. Can't install updates, and I can't do anything until I click the more info piece of shit. There it is again. 5 times a day, 10 times a day, this piece of shit. What I need to do is uninstall these three Windows 10 updates. But then what happens is it turns around and installs the pieces of shit again. It makes the updates mandatory. You have absolutely no control over the piece of shit. Well, you Microsoft pigs and your NSA pigs. My opinion is, and has long been, that the mayor and aldermen of a city corporation, or their president and directors of a bank, or the president and directors of a railroad company, or other civil or corporations are the true parties that are sued as trustees and representatives of the constantly changing stockholders. So, Gates, you pig, you're coming next. There's all the executive officers of the Microsoft Corporation. These are the pigs that are responsible for this. John W. Thompson, William H. Gates III, you pig. Terry L. Listowel, you pig. G. Mason Morfitt, you pig. Satya Nadella, you pig. Charles H. Noski, you pig. Helmut G. W. Pankey, you pig. Sandra E. Peterson, you pig. Charles W. Sharp, you pig. John W. Stanton, you pig. And Padmasree Warrior, you pig. Satya Nadella, okay, he's listed there again. Christopher Capicella, you pig. John Philippe Courtois, you pig. Kathleen T. Hogan, you pig. Amy E. Hood, you pig. Margaret Peggy L. Johnson, you pig. Bradford L. Smith, you fucking pig! And your address is Microsoft Corporation, 1 Microsoft Way, Redmond, Washington. I know where you're at. I've been to the Supreme Court 5 times. You want to be next, obviously, you fucking pigs! Bill Gates is a coward and thinks he can hide behind his Roman cult corporation. The Google pigs were harassing me by forcing me to relog into my account. The Google pigs were blocking my ability to send emails to my friends and associates. And I went and made 3 Google pigs, Satanist pigs videos, and now it's all stopped. It's like magic. I've been to the Supreme Court 5 times, and these Microsoft pigs obviously intend to be next. Article 1 of the Labor Code. A place, district, or country occupied by an enemy stands in consequence of the occupation under the martial law of the invading or occupying army, whether any proclamation declaring martial law or any public warning to the inhabitants has been issued or not. Martial law is the immediate and direct effect and consequence of occupation or conquest. The presence of a hostile army proclaims its martial law. And so Texas is under martial law. Martial law does not cease during a hostile occupation except by special proclamation ordered by the commander-in-chief or by special mention in the Treaty of Peace concluding the war. When the occupation of a place or territory continues beyond the conclusion of peace is one of the conditions. So there's been no proclamation, and there definitely was no Treaty of Peace, and so the martial law continues to this day. I got a bunch of YouTube videos about how martial law is here. We're under martial law. Martial law is coming from the UN pegs. Alberta and other Canadian states are under a military occupation. Texas and other American states are under a military occupation. Martial law supersedes and replaces common law. Statutes have been, this is taken from the Causes and Necessities for Taking Up Arms, 1775. Statutes have been passed extending the courts of Admiralty and Vice-Admiralty far beyond their ancient limits for depriving us of the accustomed and inestimable privilege of trial by jury in cases affecting both life and property, to supersede the course of common law, instead thereof to publish and order the use and exercise of the law martial. We saw the misery to which such despotism would reduce us. So the Founding Fathers clearly understood what was going on. This is taken from non-ratification of the 14th Amendment by Judge H. Ella to the Utah Supreme Court in the case Diet versus Turner, and he says the same thing in a little bit different way. In the meantime, civil law was the form of law imposed in the Roman Empire, which was largely, if not wholly, governed by martial law rule. Equity has always been understood to follow the law. To have superior equity is to turn things on their head. This is exactly what happens when martial law is imposed. If equity is a law, then it follows its own course rather than following the common law, thereby destroying the common law and leaving what's called equity in its place. So, again, that's what happens when you have martial law. And there are no common law offenses against the United States, only those acts which Congress has forbidden with penalties for disobedience of its command or crimes. Under martial law, anything goes, and so they have to pass statutes for common law crimes like murder and assault and kidnapping and all that stuff. And they conveniently forget to pass statutes for crimes like murdering your children, infanticide. Under Texas law, no act or omission is a crime unless made so by statute. The legislature may create an offense and in the same enactment provide exceptions to its application. Same thing in Texas. Arizona, same thing. All common law offenses or affirmative defenses are abolished. No conduct or omission constitutes an offense or affirmative defense unless it is an offense or affirmative defense under this title or under another statute or ordinance, okay? They have to pass statutes where everything common law is gone, okay? That's what happens when you have martial law. And this is also in Arizona, the common law only so far as it is consistent with and adapted to the natural. And what they do is they put in all these heretofores and wherefores and all this stuff, so you don't know anything about when they want it. It basically makes it so they can use it if they feel like it. And so that's the kind of shit that they pull, these Satanist pigs. Everything's an admiralty. A writ of error doth not lie upon a sentence in admiralty, but an appeal. That's taken from Tomlin's Law Dictionary, 1835 edition, but it's citing Book 4 on the Institutes and the Laws of England, which goes back to its Coke in the 1500s. Anyways, so why do you think there's all these courts of appeals all over the place? This is the same thing that precipitated the War of Independence. Police use military rank structures like captain, lieutenant, sergeant. Military script circulates for money. Federal Reserve notes, Bank of Canada notes, Bank of England notes. Military uniforms are used by the pigs and judges. The wearing a clerical dress or religious habit on the part of the lay folk is liable to the same penalty as on the part of the state as the misuse of the military uniform, which is taken from Article 10 of the Concordat of 1933 between Hitler and the Vatican. We now live in a nation where doctors destroy health, lawyers destroy justice, universities destroy knowledge, government destroys freedom, and press destroys information, religion destroys morals, and our banks destroy the economy. These Microsoft Satanists and their NSA pig handlers This is Article 2 of the Geneva Convention relative to the protection of civilians. Because it's a war crime. They're engaged in war crimes, these Satanist pigs, and that's what's going to come up. The convention shall also apply to all cases of partial or total occupation of territory of a high contracting party, even if the said occupation meets with no armed resistance. And Article 31 of the Geneva Convention, no physical or moral coercion shall be exercised against protected person, in particular to obtain information from him or from third parties. Okay, these Satanist pigs are engaged in war crimes. They intend to engage in war crimes by coercing me to install their Windows 10 piece of shit so they can collect information in violation of Article 31 of the Geneva Convention relative to the protection of civilians in a time of war of 1949. These Satanist pigs, that's all they can do is war crimes. We are grateful to the Washington Post and the New York Times, the Time Magazine, and other great publications whose directors have attended our meetings and respected the promises of discretion, including Bill Gates, that pig. For almost 40 years, it would have been impossible for us to develop our plan for the world if we had been subject to the bright lights of publicity during those years. But the world is now more sophisticated and prepared to march towards a world government. The supranational sovereignty, if an intellectual elite and world bankers, is surely preferable to the national autodetermination practiced in past centuries. Oh, yeah, talk about a tyrant. And that's David Rockefeller. That he's dead now. Good riddance to the bastard. And an address to the Trilateral Commission meeting in June of 1991. This is the Banker's Manifesto of 1934, taken from the New American in February of 1934. Capital must protect itself in every way through combination and through legislation, okay? In other words, through secret combination. Debts must be collected and loans and mortgages foreclosed as soon as possible. When through a process of so-called law, the common people have lost their homes, they will be more tractable and more easily governed by the strong arm of the law applied by the central power of wealth, under control of leading financiers. People without homes will not quarrel with their leaders. This is well known among our principal men now engaged in forming an imperialism of capital to govern the world. By dividing the people, we can get them to expend their energies in fighting over questions of no importance to us, except as teachers of the common herd. Thus, by discreet action, we can secure for ourselves what has been generally planned and successfully accomplished. Well, folks, this is what's coming. Any society that would give up a little liberty to gain a little security will deserve neither and lose both. They that give up essential liberty to obtain a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. When injustice becomes law, then resistance becomes duty. These Microsoft Satanists and their NSA pig handlers. Check out my other videos, Bankster Thieves 1, 2, 3, Churchianity series, bankrupt corporate so-called governments, bar members, do-it-yourself, how not to volunteer for the selective service in the draft, martial laws here, do-it-yourself, no income tax, do-it-yourself, estoppel certificates, everything's an illusion. Void judgments, do-it-yourself, kangaroo courts 1 through 15 now. These Microsoft Satanists and their NSA pig handlers, necessity is the plea for every infringement of human freedom. It is the argument of tyrants. It is the creed of slaves. Well, enjoy your slavery, slaves. And that's William Pitt's speech in the House of Commons on November 18, 1783. For it is a truth that when experience of ages has attested that the people are always the most in danger when the means of injuring their rights are in the possession of those whom they entertain the least suspicion. Alexander Hamilton, 1787. I prefer dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery. Thomas Jefferson. So, what's the answer? The answer is to get rid of this Microsoft 10 piece of crap and use Linux. I've been thinking about it for a long time. I've been wanting to do it. My biggest problem was, quite frankly, is that I have like Microsoft Word. I know the menus. I use a lot of Microsoft compatible software. But at this point, I am so fed up with these Microsoft pigs that I am really strongly considering putting Linux on my machine here. These Satanist pigs, I've just had it. They go and they lock up my computer. Either that or I'll sue their butt for violations of efficiency, the fact that I'm not able to get my work done because I'm busy clicking on their piece of shit software because it doesn't work. It's such an abortion piece of shit. Anyways, I hope you got something out of the video. Linux is really a good software. The problem is that I'd have to relearn all the windows, all the menus, and all sorts of crap. And but maybe I need to bite the bullet. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a great day.